Hey, welcome to the last day of our 5 days emotional intelligence challenge, and I hope you've been following. If not, go back to the last 4 days, and for a wrap, we'll be talking about emotional legacy. Yes, welcome to the Family Nest Academy, and I am the founder, Princess Francisca Obi-Chineze, where we empower families to live intentionally in fulfilling their purpose and living a holistic life, raising children who will stand out in their generation. And yes, for a wrap, we are going to make it short because we'll be meeting in the evening today for our live session, and that will be by 9 p.m. West African time. So if you have been following, kindly come and join us live and invite other families who benefit from here. So let's quickly wrap this up. Every family passes something down, and here we are talking about emotional identity. Sometimes we live our life without the thought of what happens after us, what imprint, the things we are doing, the choices we are making, we have in the next generation. And we need to understand that it's not just our surnames, traditions, or even faith that we pass down to the next generation. Far more than that, we pass down our emotional identity, the way we respond, which I explained the last time when we say that anger runs in the blood. Search for that video. It's one of the emotional intelligence videos we've been making throughout this week. So before a child knows who they are academically, socially, spiritually, they already know who they are emotionally. Maybe not in full perception, but they are already forming their emotional nature, because in the first few years, children begin to build their emotional sense, or rather, let me put it this way: the emotional sense begin to form and mature, right, in the first few years of life. And that is when they are observing us, the way we react, the way we respond, the way we manage our emotions, whether we are well regulated or dysregulated. And they ask a lot of questions that they may not say it verbally, but within them. Things like, am I safe here, or am I free to feel? Am I too much? Do my emotions matter? Do I need to hide part of me, or I'm loved the way I am? So when we shout at children, shut them down, sit down there, you're talking too much, we don't realize the role these things are playing in forming who they are emotionally, outside the social aspect of that. So these questions are answered long before they even become adults, and they are answered at home. So what is the science of how emotional identity is formed? Neuroscience tells us something profound. A child's emotional identity is shaped primarily through repeated emotional experiences with caregivers, not through correction or instruction. So how they feel around us, with the way we interact with them, our disposition, our facial expression, our verbal alterations. The key findings show that children internalize emotional responses they observe consistently. And the truth is that we don't even know we repeat these things, right? So the brain mirrors emotional behavior before it understands logic. So emotional regulation is learned through co-regulation before self-regulation. I want to make this video short. We'll talk about it more in our live session. You are the one who helps your child begin to learn to regulate their emotions. So when children throw tantrum, it's normal at the beginning, because that's their only way to express, to tell you something. That's the only way their brain understands. But you throwing tantrum again on top of a child's tantrum, you are not an adult that should have learned how to regulate your emotion. But instead of helping this child to explain, okay, I understand you're feeling I understand you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling angry, but can we talk about it? And use the opportunity to teach this child, show this child how to be calm in chaos, how to think around each situation before responding. Remember, we talked about your feeling is validated, but your behavior is not acceptable, right? If we behave wrongly based on our feeling. So that is a spot on for you to teach this child to be calm and able to control your emotion. But no, most of us, we shout on top of a child that's already shouting. So what are you reflecting? Inability to control your own emotion. And that's exactly what the child is doing, and that he was meant to learn from you at that point. Let's shoot up. So in simple terms, children do not become emotionally healthy because they are told to calm down. They become emotionally healthy because someone calm stood with them. So you were calm and you stood by, waiting for them to settle and have a word or reassurance, and then teach or correct calmly without being everywhere. Sometimes we think it's when we are shouting it that it registers. No, and I've taught us about the logical brain and the emotional brain not working simultaneously. So that modeling becomes their inner voice. Psychologically, what is the finding? Many parents ask, why does my child react like this? Often the deeper question is, or should be, what emotional pattern have they absorbed? So I'm sure you've heard that children are like full sponge. So they absorb. The way you put sponge on water, it soaks water. That's the way children are. So they copy how anger is handled, how disappointment is processed, how mistakes are repaired, and how stress is carried out, how we engage in conversation with one another as husband and wife, right? What parents practice emotionally becomes permission for children. If an adult is doing it, it means it's right. So if parents apologize, children learn humility. If parents pause, children learn to restrain. If parents name emotions, children learn clarity. This is not about perfection. It's about intention. Of course, you can sleep, you can make mistakes, but the question is, what are you intentionally projecting, both by your modeling, by teaching, and by the things you do every day? So, what is the spiritual dimension of identity and legacy in line with our emotions? Scripture clearly speaks about generational impact. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. And dear parents, inheritance is not only physical materials or money. Inheritance includes emotions, your spiritual inheritance, behavioral, and everything around you. So, even Jesus modeled emotional identity that is rooted in truth. He knew Jesus modeled emotional identity that is rooted in truth. He knew who he was. He expressed emotion without losing purpose. He withdrew without guilt. He restored without resentment. Our children learn who they are emotionally by watching who we are when emotions rise. When you are angry, someone has made you angry at work, or even your husband or your wife has offended you, how do you express that? Your children are watching. So, family, what are the family intentional skills that can help us model emotional intelligence? I will need to wrap it up here so that it won't be too long. Intentional emotional modeling means choosing your response, having legacy in mind, having the future in mind, having the thought that yes, this thing I'm doing is beyond here. It will determine the next generation's way of modeling or behaving or controlling or not controlling their emotions. So you see, I was watching a video of a young boy that had to hit the either brother or uncle with a mortar out of anger because according to him, he was asking him why didn't he cook rice or whatever was hitting him, slapping him and beating him. And out of anger, the only thing that came to him was to retaliate or to defend himself with a mortar. And that's how the young boy became a murderer. Unregulated emotions. You think he just came up? It because his child was not taught to control his emotion. Even the uncle was not controlling his emotion. Yeah. So you must have learned it somewhere. So modeling emotion intentionally, looking at legacy, is simple things we do every day, or even hard things we consciously decide to work on for the sake of the next generation. Things like naming your emotions out loud in healthy ways that we have already taught us, pausing before reacting, repairing when you get it wrong, letting children see growth and not perfection. Let your children know that you can mess up, that you hit them and shout at them, or you are everywhere, does not mean you are right. When you catch yourself after that, say, oh, I'm sorry. I know I was angry because of what you did, but I was not meant to react that way. Let them realize that this thing is wrong. Don't be claiming right when you do something wrong. And you are internalizing emotional dysregulation and nonsense. You are justifying the wrong you have done, even though you know you are wrong, but because you are the boss, you are the king of kings in your home, you can behave anyhow, justify it, and do like nothing happened. You are registering permanently in your children's subconsciousness that this is the right way to go. And that's how they will go out, have misunderstanding with people, and they will carry out their anger everywhere. They will go out and fight with others. At work, they are fighting, they are having issues with everybody. Nobody is good enough for them. They are picking mistakes and errors. They are everywhere. Yes, you meet them at work. They are crying for everything. So, let's be careful. So we don't teach children to be dictators and emotionally disorganized and poor relationship abilities. And this lands most people in broken homes. Some of the broken marriages we have are due to lack of emotional intelligence, transmitted from the family to children. And children are not able to learn to calm down, reflect on things before making decisions. They are angry. Something happens. It's over. I'm not going to continue in this relationship. Of course, you know me. I don't support marital abuse or anything that risks your life. But some of the broken homes could have been handled if our children were taught emotional intelligence from home. Even before getting to the point of saying yes to a man, they would have understood and known if this is the man they will work with and how to work with this man. Okay? So, when we are intentional about this, we teach children emotions are information and not instruction. Yes. When your brain interprets something, it's information. It's not like you must do this. It's not an instruction that you must follow. You teach them that feelings are signal. Okay, this is a sign. My brain is signaling that my system is not accepting this. I'm not happy about this. But did you say because you're not happy about something or you're feeling sad, you should not attack someone else or become aggressive? This is it. Why we conclude. So we need to understand that emotional intelligence is not built in one moment. It is built with consistent small pauses, calm repairs, honest apologies, in daily modeling. Your children are not just watching what you do, they are becoming it. So let's choose wisely what we do daily, choose intentionally, and choose legacy. And thank you for joining me into this life challenge. I look forward to seeing us in the live session. Please invite other family, invite your children, invite your friends. Let's begin to build holistic families and not transfer or transmit emotional foolishness or unintelligence or dysregulation and then try to find a way to justify it. And yes, this is Family Nest Academy, where we empower your family to become whom God have created them to be and live a life of victory. Do have a lovely day and see you later tonight. Bye.